Welcome to our latest episode of this webinar series, where we share hands-on experiences about executing digital transformation using low-code software development. My name is Frederick Becker, and I work here at CLEVR. We are the leading specialist for executing digital transformation projects using the low-code platform Mendix and the whole product lifecycle portfolio around Teamcenter from Siemens. Today, I have the honor of announcing Patrick Janssen as our guest speaker. He's a veteran of field service management with almost decades of experience in the industry. And this is both as an employee and as an independent consultant. He will be speaking today in his function as an independent consultant. He's going to share with you his idea on how field service organizations can deliver a competitive advantage over other players by leveraging the power of flexible low-code platforms like Mendix. That's, I think, said enough. Patrick, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Indeed, like Frederick explained, it's my honor to participate in this webinar and to tell you a bit about how I look towards low-code and the position of low-code within the field service management realm. So let's get started. Well, first of all, let's make introductions. Who am I? So my name is Patrick Janssen. I'm a father of 3 kids. I'm married to Joyce, and I'm living in Dinxperlo, which is a small village in the Netherlands. I'm a bit of a nerd, and I like everything from Star Wars and Marvel. Sorry for that. And besides that, I'm an amateur survival running athlete, and I strongly believe in being physically fit is mentally fit. So therefore, I also train with the kids outside and in any kind of weather. So what do I do in business? I'm the founder of Cetrax, and I offer my services as interim service transition manager and consultant for the industrial field service. My current assignment is with Andritz Feed and Biofuel in the role of global service manager. And I started my career as an aircraft maintenance engineer working at Schiphol. Basically, I worked for most of my career as an industrial field service in the industrial field service, and it provides me with a lot of energy. And in my role, I basically focus on organizing service in such a way that it is efficient and profitable so that it delivers an exceptional stakeholder experience. So first of all, let's see what we are trying to solve actually. These are the main market challenges for industrial field service today. I will not go into depth regarding these challenges since I'm sure that you are well aware of them. The labor market is under stress so that we struggle to fulfill positions. The aging workforce means that competent people are retiring soon and that we will have to deal with a serious knowledge drain if we are not careful. Something which is also a challenge is the retention rate for employees, which is declining due to several demographic and cultural factors. And the economic circumstances change more rapidly and our customer expectations are rising significantly. I mean, just to mention a few. Besides these challenges, our employees are struggling as well. The reason for that are to be found in 3 main areas. The first is the complex organizational structure. Especially this is reality for most employees part of larger corporates. The second reason is to be found in the huge application landscape. The structure of the organization and the application landscape is an important cause for employees to not precisely know what their responsibility is, which tasks they need to perform, who needs to be involved, which applications they need to use, and in which application they can find relevant data for tasks. If you then combine this with the different cultures, you have a mixture which makes the organization not lean nor agile. And tasks will be missed, maybe done twice. And in the meantime, the customer and all other stakeholders get very frustrated. So how is this all relevant to your competitive advantage? Well, please ask yourself, why does your customer do business with you instead of with your customers? With your competitors, of course. Is that because of that you differentiate on price level? If that is the case, you really want to focus on having the low cost prices and highest volume. For this, you can, of course, implement standard off-the-shelf software applications and implement the processes similar to your competitors. Just make sure you implement these processes better so that you become more efficient than your competitors. With that, you can secure the low cost prices and secure your competitive advantage. But if you do something different from your competitors, so when you walk through the organization and you talk to your employees, are they then talking with pride about the things that they do different from the competitor? If that is the case and you do something unique, you need to focus on realizing exceptional customer experience. That will be your main differentiator. This unique customer experience is defined by your business identity. Basically, you need to capture your unique business identity with the software you implement. In my experience, this is very hard to realize with standard off-the-shelf software, since those applications will force you into adapting processes that are defined by the software. So if your competitor uses the same application, they will probably use more or less the same procedures as you will then as well. Just to elaborate a bit more on your business identity. Your unique business identity is influenced by your customers. So how do they behave and what are the requirements? What businesses are they and which business culture do they have? It is also influenced by the assets that you serve. Are they high or low tech? Are they very specific or perhaps mobile or static, rotating or not? Do they have a lot of wear parts or a lot of engineered parts? Your identity is also influenced by your partner profile and the profile of your service professionals. Are they highly educated or digital native? Where do they live? What kind of culture do they embrace? So your identity is also influenced by your competitors, of course, and what makes you then different from them. So your business identity is constructed out of 3 levels. You have the corporate identity, your image to meet the market and shareholder requirements. You have the global division identity to meet your global business requirements, and the local identity to meet the local business culture requirements. And when we now look at the challenges we face and our competitive advantage, how will low-code then be of value to us? What low-code can do very well is capture the 3 business identity levels. With it, you can secure your business identity, how you position yourself towards the market very well. As can be seen in this graph, you can cover these different identity layers with the software. And the corporate level is then the umbrella for the global identity, for the region identity, but also for the local identity. So everything can be covered underneath there. I can imagine that it is a bit abstract, so let's make it a bit more concrete here. So what do we need to build? We use existing off-the-shelf software applications for processes that you do not need for your unique business identity. What we need to do then is build one business management layer with low-code on top of all of the existing applications you have. With it, you will create the one user interface in the form of a collaboration ecosystem. All users and stakeholders that need to interact with your business will use the business management layer. So that will be customers, that will be your employees, that will be vendors, everyone. They will now feel like they are working with your company, your colors, everything is just as you are, your image towards the outside world. All processes, the look and feel, the feedback loops, so how people are informed, are built into this low-code layer. You need to utilize the self-service functionalities in there, which will be a very powerful tool to become more efficient and to enhance the stakeholder experience. Like if a customer has a problem, they log in, they can find an answer to that problem, maybe do some first diagnosing themselves already. So if you can elaborate the self-service functionality in that layer as well, that will be of an added value towards your stakeholder experience, right? So in that low-code layer, you can build your workflows, your questionnaires, etc., to make sure that no tasks are lost or duplicated, and that the quality of the tasks are also controlled. So remember, we have this complex application landscape within the organization. We have a complex organizational structure. By creating workflows inside of the business management layer, you can overcome that issue. You will create one data lake with this business management layer, since you will tap into all of the existing applications. And therefore, the life of controlling will become much better. And your employees can now start to utilize the existing data and steering the company in the desired direction. So how will we do all of this? Well, basically the business management layer will not be developed all at once. It will be cut into small pieces, which we call apps. And these apps will have to be implemented within about 8 weeks. This is to prevent too much time, effort, and budget is spent on a single app that might not deliver the value objective that you sketched in the beginning. So every app needs to contribute to the main low-code objective. Every app needs to be integrated into the main low-code/business management layer. And the domain model, so that's the structure of the data at the back end of every app, needs to be integrated easily. And the value objective KPI needs to be met with the MVP of that app. Otherwise, the app will be canceled or a recovery plan needs to be accepted. So with cutting this business management layer up in smaller apps, you you mitigate the risk effect for every specific app. What you want to prevent is spending a lot of time and budget on the business management layer, and then at the end, coming to the conclusion like, nah, it didn't quite do what it's supposed to do. Okay, so to clarify how this all works in field service management, I mean, that's where I'm most comfortable with that process. So what we see here is the primary process for field service management. We have an input, that is a reason why we start the process. And after that, we have the different sub-processes that we need to perform. And let's start with the input. This might be an IoT trigger. Maybe an asset hit a certain threshold and requires maintenance. And this triggers a service request or a work order. And another input can also be a service request, which is triggered by a customer using the customer portal. Or you implemented a service cycle based on your PLM input or an SLA that triggers a work order. Or maybe your service engineer created a recommendation that requires to be performed. So there are already quite a few inputs that needs tailored interfacing. And as you can imagine, we need to interface with the PLM for importing assets as engineered or as built or as maintained bill of materials. Any kind of asset documentation needs to be implemented as well, integrated through the PLM. But we would also like to update the as maintained bill of material back into the PLM after we complete the field service work. And we would also like to see if we can use alternative part numbers when we do not have the latest part number on stock, or if we might need to exchange a part since engineering defined there's something wrong with a certain part number. Next to that, we would also like to provide data to the engineering team about the operational behavior of the assets, so which they then can use to improve existing asset types, or perhaps to design new and improve asset types. The same goes for the CRM. How nice would it be that a sales manager or a service engineer would be able to check the status of a customer before they visit the customer? So exchanging data with the CRM is vital for the customer experience we deliver. And the ERP, I mean, that speaks for itself, right? Basically, we need to interface with multiple applications, and we need to do that due to, we want to improve quality. So implement standardized checklists and also implement standardized procedures for troubleshooting or pre-routed tasks. But we also would like to do that to improve the customer experience and the employee experience. So offer self-service capabilities for customers, vendors, and employees, but also a connection to the spare parts catalog as an example, so that your service mechanics can create quotes or recommendations using the spare parts catalog. We would also like to do that for efficiency improvements, of course. So pre-visit activities to make sure that we understand what the situation of the customer is, or that we can check the technical status of a certain asset. We would also provide the opportunity for service engineers to check and review work orders before they go to site, making sure that they have all the parts, no parts are missed in the work preparation. But also to review the status of the customer, like I just explained. And remember, customers today want to feel listened to and to be seen as individuals with personalized needs. So if you go to site, go to a client unprepared, not knowing the exact status of a customer, that will definitely not contribute to a good customer experience. And yes, we can implement our financial processes using a standard ERP, but the way we service the client, that is something that makes us unique. What will secure our competitive advantage? What needs to deliver an exceptional customer experience? These things we want to capture in software. So how can we do that with standard off-the-shelf software, right? It's my experience that is very difficult to achieve. So I went through this a bit faster than I anticipated, but the key takeaways for this is we have certain market challenges. So we have our labor market scarcity, we have our aging workforce and our knowledge drain, we have fluid economic circumstances, and we have increased customer experiences. We also face struggling employees to navigate through the complex organizational structure and the huge application landscape, plus the lack of data insights. Besides that, we have our competitive advantage. So do we compete on price level, or do we compete on our service uniqueness of our service? My advice would be to use standard off-the-shelf software for digitalizing processes that are standard in the market. So these processes do not contribute to your uniqueness, then go ahead with implementing off-the-shelf software for those. But just make sure that the processes are then implemented in an efficient and effective manner. Use low-code software for the collaboration with stakeholders and to streamline data, manage knowledge. The stakeholder collaboration can then be tailored to your specific business identity and stakeholder expectations, making your service unique. Use low-code to remain to be agile and to be capable to adapt to current and future market requirements. And use low-code to remain to be agile in connecting any current and potential future technology. Think of AI. I mean, it's there. We can't ignore it. It will also infiltrate in our business. IoT, XR, self-service, also a very strong tool. So that is why I think low-code will definitely contribute to our uniqueness in the market and how it will contribute to the customer experience for our business. Like I said, it was a very short one, shorter than I anticipated, but I hope it resonated with you very well. And I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your attendance, and I hope to speak all of you in person at some point. Thank you very much.